So I made a video on this pretty recently, but seeing as how we just got a pretty big buff for hand cannons, let's talk about it again. I'm making this video pretty quickly after the update. I've only been playing since the patch released yesterday, and I'm making this video the night of the patch. So any future inaccuracies this video might actually have, I apologize for them, but most of this should be fairly accurate. In the previous video I talked about hand cannons and range. This is also a video on that. I don't know how long this video is going to be yet, but I'm going to split the video into 3 different parts just to make it easier to watch. The first 2 parts are going to be about the 2 things that they changed, which are ghost bullets and damage output from medium to long range, and the last part will specifically be talking about every exotic hand cannon. So first off, ghost bullets are, I think, pretty much gone. If you miss, it's probably just because of bad aim at this point, or lag on someone's end. This means that hand cannons don't need a range perk to be viable, but that doesn't mean a range perk is a bad idea. It just means now you get to choose between stability, range, and one of my new favorite perks, explosive rounds, or anything else in that middle tree. So in the background while I talk, I'm going to show off clips of 3 different IS Lunas, one with brace frame, one with small bore and rangefinder, and one with explosive rounds. So with the update, besides just ghost bullets being fixed, they also had to nerf damage output from further out ranges. They worded this a little differently, but it pretty much means what I just said. They're really trying to drive home the whole using guns and intended ranges thing, but this is definitely a good thing so we don't have overpowered year 1 hand cannons all over again. Stability is still very strong for combating things with high stagger like a Doctrine of Passing. That's how it's been since the last update. But range is now good for handling damage drop-off a little better. Trying to hit scout rifle shots or long range shots, even with small bore and rangefinder, still made damage output pretty low, but you could at least hit them, and with more range you end up doing more damage in those situations than you would have, meaning you could still body snipe and then hit them with 1 bullet of your hand cannon to finish them off, if you have a little range. If you don't have any range, you probably only will do about 20 to 35 damage, which might not be enough to finish someone off from a body snipe. Not that I'm telling you to go body snipe the world or anything. And this 20 to 35 damage ratio is pretty much where the last word is sitting in, and a couple other hand cannons that I can't think of right now. So let's go ahead and move on to exotic hand cannons because they've always been pretty important in the meta. I'll try and make some of these kind of quick because really there's only 2 that I even care about or I think that are very important to the meta. No offense to the other hand cannons. First off, the first curse. This is an interesting hand cannon because I didn't really use it much when it first came out. I don't know if the range perk on it actually nullified ghost bullets before this patch, but because of that perk, this gun has some ridiculous damage at further ranges. Ridiculous compared to other hand cannons with very similar range to it, at least. This is a decent contender right now because it can actually hit shots from pretty far off and do decent damage. The thing is, I can't see this gun winning every fight against a hawk saw or any pulse rifle for that matter. It's in a weird place. Its stability is very low even with its perk active, but I could definitely see someone becoming amazing with this gun. It's probably not going to be me though. Next up is the Hawk Moon. They said Hawk Moon flew a little too high during the playtest, and I could definitely see why. They had to nerf the stability by I think 5 points or something like that, and I think they did it because it probably hits so hard from so far away because of its 3 luck in the chambers that they probably had to do something to bring it back down a little bit, and that was to nerf the stability a little bit so that they'd have to pace their shots a little more often, just so you couldn't double tap people from medium range. If you're really accurate, you could definitely pick someone off fairly quickly in mid or long range. Lucky bullets make the damage output fairly high, especially in close range as always, but decently high in those other ranges. This gun is still one of the best, and it's a very rewarding gun because of its 3 RNG bullets. I would tell you to try it out, but I don't want to see any more of this gun double tapping people. No offense to Hawkmoon users. Finally, let's get to the 2 hand cannons that shifted the meta originally, Thorn and The Last Word. The Last Word is amazing for beating shotgunners again, and I don't think it ever was bad against shotgunners, but now none of the bullets you shoot should whiff. You can even hit a few shots with it from pretty far off. Its minimal range, however, means it has the steepest damage drop-off of all of the hand cannons. And that's okay, because the Last Word is probably still the best gun to be paired with a sniper. Now, if you hit a body shot snipe, you have a pretty good chance at finishing them off with a Last Word bullet or 2. Probably not the first bullet. It's nice to have the Last Word not whiff every other bullet. I'm happy about the change, and this gun is definitely one of the best. Finally, let's go to Thorn. I said it in the last video, Thorn never became weak. It was still strong in the last patch, regardless of if people thought it was weak because nobody used it. Before, you needed to use Send It on it to make it viable in pretty decently far ranges. Now you don't even need Send It, meaning you can choose the stability perk instead. None of the bullets ever miss with this gun, meaning it definitely fits in the meta right now. Whether or not anyone should be using it is not up to me. I'm sorry if people start using it a lot soon, but it's a very good and very consistent gun. Like I said before though, the more range on a hand cannon, the less the damage drop off. While Thorn is powerful with the stability perk, Send It would help the damage drop off a little bit. It's a very fair trade-off between stability and range in my opinion. I think finally we have a little diversity, especially with hand cannons. Some playstyles might fit a little better with a lot of range, or maybe a little bit better with a lot of stability. I don't know which one I prefer yet. Honestly, I'm just glad that I have a choice now. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.